Hey guys, the Gadget Man here with nothing but gadgets, and today I'm going to be talking about the DBPOWER EX700. So 3, 2, 1, let's get at it. Alright, so this here is the DBPOWER EX700, and this is a 4K action camera that you can get on Amazon.com for under 30 bucks, guys. And you're like, okay, how good could a $30 4K action camera be? I mean, it really can't be that good. Well, we're about to see that today. That's what I want to find out. But before I do that, I want to talk about another camera that I bought 4 years ago from DBPOWER. This is the EX5000. This is the 1080p HD model. And you know, I've had this for 4 years, and I have carted this thing all over the world, and I have used this thing. This is like basically, I mean, I've even lost the bottom plate for it, and I have taken it to South America, on cruises and stuff, and I gotta admit, the video quality isn't all that great, but I've made dozens of good videos with it, and it really has just been, it's a lightweight, little durable thing, and it's just almost indestructible. Even after 4 years of lots of use and everything, I can, it still turns on just fine, still records, does good. There's just nothing wrong with it. I mean, it's not the best quality video, but as far as a camera that works and has been put through the mill, this little booger right here has been beat to pieces and still ticks, man. It still works. So I'm really excited. By the way, you can get this for under 20 bucks now. I paid about $52 for it 4 years ago, but it's now $19 and something on Amazon.com. If you just want a really cheap camera, I know this is good, and I would buy it again if I needed just a cheap camera. You know, so there you go. That 19 bucks can't beat that. But let's go ahead and get the EX7000 out of the box here. You know, I haven't bought a camera in a long time because I get a lot of cameras given to me by companies who want me to do reviews. DBPOWER never asked me to do a review for this camera, so I decided to buy it on my own. It was like $29 and something. I just wanted to see the upgrade from the EX5000 to the EX7000. So that's what this review here is about. This is something I decided to do all on my own here. So let's get this baby out of the box and see what it looks like. Wow, that's a big difference there. Got a black case on it. That's good. Pops open like that. Let's look at the camera itself. Come on out. Well. Ooh. That's different. Different 4K DBPOWER there. EX7000. Got the power button. The record button. Oh, tripod mount. I gotta say that when compared to the EX7000, this actually feels more substantial. This feels very plasticky. This one is actually made out of plastic, but it kind of has a more solid feel to it. It's a lot heavier. I would say, another 1/3 heavier than the EX5000. I like that it has the tripod screw on the bottom, so you don't have to hooked any attachments to it to use it on a tripod. That's cool there. Battery door. Now the battery door on this one is attached, where on this one it was just a little plate that you put in there so it, you know, won't get lost. Let's pull the battery out. It comes with a battery. Alright, so let's go ahead and get the rest of the accessories out of the box to see what came with it here. So let me open that up. Pull all this stuff out of the way here. Ooh. Okay, so it doesn't come with a terrible amount of accessories, but it does come with this nice remote control, some sticky plates. I believe this is supposed to be used with a strap, maybe for maybe to put on your head or something like that. A couple little sticky, double-sided sticky pads there. A quick clip that'll clip into these things here. A couple of screws, an adapter, and a torque wrench for tightening up your screws with. I'm not sure who would need those, but I guess if you really wanted to crank it down, you'd need something like that. And an external case, also has a waterproof case. So compared to a lot of other cameras, it doesn't come with a lot of accessories, but we are talking about something that is under $30 for a 4K camera. So, and also, pretty much all these accessories are going to be interchangeable with other accessories that you may already have. So if you already have another camera or other things, then you're going to be able to use all these accessories interchangeable with them. Okay, so let's go ahead and see how it turns on. So I'm going to press the power button here. It's not the fastest startup. I would say about 2 to 3 seconds. All right, so the main important thing about these little cameras is, do they take good quality video? That's what you need to know. All the fancy doodads doesn't mean anything. It's the quality of the video at the end of the day that matters, and that's what I'm going to test out. And I'll come back and I'll show you some samples and we'll talk about that. All right, so I'm back now. I've had a few days to test this camera out, and there's a few things I kind of was impressed with about it, and there's some other things that, as would be expected for a sub $30 4K action camera, that I kind of expected some lower quality stuff. Now, the first thing I want to talk about is the 4K video. Now, if you're expecting, Hollywood style 4K video out of a $29 camera, well, you're expecting too much. But having said that, let me show you some clips I took of some 4K video so you can see just how good it actually did do, or how bad it did. So let's go ahead. This first clip I'm going to throw up is a clip where I went to a state park and was overlooking a lake and with a road bridge between it. So it's a bright, sunshiny day, and so this is the best quality 4K video you're going to get out of this camera. So let me throw that up there. And if you just look closely, the color balance is quite good. The sky is blue, grass is green, and, it's not leaning to the red hue or the blue hue too much. It's actually not that bad. It's not a bad footage at all, but on a bigger screen, I can see some artifacts, especially down in the grass, where it's just not able to resolve that complexity very well. Okay, so now here's another clip, another still clip, where I'm going to show you a wall, kind of a stone wall. All right, let me throw that up. And if you really see here, you can really pick up the artifacts coming out of this, because all the complexity, the light and the shadow, is just not able to resolve it. And so it just ends up with artifacts. Looks like little bitty digital ants crawling all over everything. But it's not bad video, and the color balance is pretty good. So I also took it out on an ATV out through the woods in the later afternoon to kind of see how it would handle a little bit darker conditions. So let me throw that up here. And I'm just driving my ATV down through the woods here, and you can see it's not doing that bad of a job. Now, the camera has no distortion correction or any kind of stabilization type features, anti-shake features, and so I've got it mounted to the ATV, and I don't think it's doing too bad of a job here. I think it did pretty good for a sub $30 camera. Okay, now I did take some pictures with it, and again, I want to say it has no distortion correction. So these are fisheye lenses, and they're wide angle, so whenever you get close to something that has a straight line, it's going to warp it, okay? It's going to warp it over. And so here is a shot of some flowers close to an RV, and you can see the bottom of the RV, and I'm just throw that up there for you. You can see the bottom of the RV is warped. Now that is not really warped, it's straight. So the closer you get with this camera on stuff, the more warped it's going to get. The further away that you are, the better it's going to be, so the less warped. Some cameras have distortion correction. This one, I could not find any setting on it that allowed for distortion correction. So, like I said, it is a $30 camera. So, let me throw a few pictures up here for you so you can see those. Okay, now one thing I did notice about the camera is that, even though the color balance was good, everything kind of looked kind of dull. It didn't seem to have the vibrance of the real picture. It just lacked color. So I went through the settings and I found a vivid setting, and I set it on the vivid setting. And so here I'm going to show you a couple of pictures that I took on the vivid setting, and compare those two, and I turned the vivid on and off and took these pictures so that you can see the difference. you know, those are not bad. They're good, but the vivid setting does add more color, but it kind of looks fake. You can, when you're looking at it on the big screen and in person, it does not look natural. It does have more color, but it doesn't look like natural color. So I don't know. I mean, you know, it does good as far as what it does because the color balance is correct. I don't know. I'm not going to use the vivid setting myself because the color that it adds does not look like natural color to me. You know, it might be different for you. Aside from, you know, the video quality, I shot in 1080p, and actually in shooting in 1080p, a lot of those artifacts that I'm seeing in the 4K footage disappear when you shoot in 1080p. So let me throw up some 1080p footage here for you. Okay, so I think that it did better shooting 1080p than shooting 4K, because even though the 4K was sharper, it had those artifacts, so that degraded the quality of the footage, whereas the 1080p was not as sharp, but it didn't have the artifacts in it, or nearly as bad. So I would consider this a 1080p camera. Also, I had a little bit of trouble with the 4K. The camera tends to overheat, and when it overheats, shooting 4K, it just freezes up, and then you have to pull the battery out and let it cool off before it'll shoot 4K again. You know, even though it says 4K, I wouldn't buy this camera as a 4K camera. I would buy it as a 1080p HD camera, and it does really good at that. So that's my opinion there. You know, I wasn't expecting too good a 4K out of a $30 camera, and it didn't disappoint me in that department. It just doesn't have good 4K. I mean, 4K is, you know, hard to get, guys, to get any quality for 30 bucks. Amazing that it even tries to do it. Now let me go ahead and turn the camera on. The startup time is a couple of seconds. It's not bad. You can see the screen here. It's got the three little buttons, one on the bottom here, and this is you just tap on those and you bring up, and the touchscreen actually works really good on this. It's very sensitive. You can adjust your video quality settings, stuff like that. You know, it's actually one of the better touchscreens that I've had on an action camera. A lot of them have really bad touchscreens. This one actually works pretty good. So, you know, there's playback, and then if you go into settings, then you have effects, and this is where you can get to the vivid. Right there, you can change it to natural or different things like that, or go off. And it has some other features on it and stuff like that. But, you know, it actually works pretty good for you know, a $30 camera with a touchscreen. I think that's actually amazing myself. You know, and it's pretty easy to use. So battery life is pretty good on it. You know, I filmed a lot on one battery, and so it does actually have pretty good battery life. The build quality appears to be solid. Whoop, there I dropped it. It feels well built, better built than I expected out of a $30 camera. The microphone, you know, is just basically an action cam microphone. It's going to be horrible in the wind. You're not going to be able to hear anything, and you know, it's just an action camera microphone. Not even your top quality action camera microphones are that good. They all have problems. So if you want good audio, you always have to record on an external device, or if you can put if it can accept an external microphone connected to it, which a lot of the cheaper ones can't, and it doesn't say on here whether it can or not, and I couldn't find anything in the literature that said that it could accept an external microphone. So I would just assume that it cannot. It may, but I did not test that out. Well, guys, that's about all I can say about this little camera. I will say that my DBPOWER EX700 has lasted for many years, and it's been a great little camera. You know, like again, if this one lasts as good, I think it's well worth the $30 that you're going to pay for it. You're not going to get 4K out of it very good, you know, and you're going to have some problems with freezing. But aside from that, I mean, if you just need a little, you know, cheap $30 camera, this is really not a bad deal. You know, and I doubt that you would find any camera in a $30 range that would do better. And one of the things I think the big pluses here for this camera is that the white balance is a lot more accurate. I have $100, $150 action cameras that do not have white balance or color balance as good as this camera right here. They lean to the red hue or the blue hue or the green hue. This one was very well balanced. And that's one of the things about DBPOWER that I've noticed is they do kind of get their color balance a lot better than some of the other action cameras, which just obviously are leaning one way or the other on the hues. So that's actually pretty good. So for $30, I think it's worth it. It's up to you. Well, I hope you enjoyed this video. If you have, please like, subscribe, and comment. And remember, I'll place a link to this product in the description of the video. If you're interested, just click on the show more and you can find it there. Until next time, this is the Gadget Man saying, I'll see you later.